Good afternoon, respected esteemed guest, Mr. Parveen Khanna and Ms. Khanna, our educating partners, that is the parent community, our colleagues, and of course, my dear young friends, that is students, the youth of tomorrow. Today, I, Shalini Kumar, along with my colleague Suruchi Batra, on behalf of BLDAV Model School Shalimar extend a warm welcome to the resource persons of the day. They are Mr. Praveen Khanna and Ms. Garima Khanna from Pratham Education, which is a very reputed institution that hears and prepares students for various entrance exams. So this session today is not limited to only science or commerce, but entire science, commerce, and arts, humanities, by and large. So, you know what, friends? The present unprecedented times of COVID pandemic, as you all know, could never have been anticipated. Did we ever imagine? No, not at all, my dear friends. We could never ever have imagined, not even in our wildest dreams, that we would be living in a virtual world like this with for almost 10 months now, another 2 months, and it's going to be 1 year. Imagine how life has come to a standstill. But then education has not stopped. We are still on online classes. Rather, we are giving more than the regular routine. And now, if you see, we are all here sitting in the comfort of our homes, and we are getting the best at our doorsteps, isn't it, students? So, moving further, we've been living in a virtual world. I was telling you. So it's like online classes, online exams, online jobs even, and WFH. You know what that is? Work from home culture. This is becoming the buzzword in today's era. But yes, according to this, we also have stress. Some people have stress. What will happen? What is future in store for us? Class 12 students are feeling, bhai, abhi hona tha. All this had to happen now when we have our 12th class boards. Don't worry, dear students, don't worry. A little bit of stress is important. Even our best cricketer, Virat Kohli or maybe, Sachin Tendulkar, they played better when they had little stress. So thoda stress to healthy hai. But yes, too much of stress is bad, really disastrous. So dear friends, at this crucial juncture that we are standing on, our resource persons now are going to guide and navigate us all through and through, giving us tips, giving us tricks to, how to crack competitive exams. And thus, they are in a way going to help you carve your own niche, carve your own career. So that's so important for your bright future. So I now hand over the stage to you, Mr. Praveen Khanna. The stage is all yours. Welcome to the platform of PLDAV Shalimar. Right?
Thank you, madam. Thanks, Dan. Thank you.
Sharing careers post-COVID. That's your theme and that's your topic. Please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, madam. Thanks, Atan. I hope everybody can hear me.
Yes, sir. You're audible.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, there is a camera problem of which I think I'm trying to work that out. But I'll start the session here. Thank you, madam. Thank you, principal ma'am. Thank you, madams, respected teachers, students. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to share our thoughts with you, where we would be discussing about what are the career opportunities which are available post-COVID and how are we supposed to go along with it. So if somebody can confirm whether we can see the PPT which says trending career options for 2025 and beyond.
No, sir, the PPT is not visible as such.
Okay, because that's what I did. Give me a second, please.
Sure. We have a computer expert, Suruchi here. Suruchi Batra, if you could help them. If there's any assistance required, sir.
Sir, you have to present your screen. Mr. Parveen.
If somebody from my team can confirm that we can see the PPT.
Yes, sir. You have to click on present now, and then you click on a window. Then you can present your screen.
Though I've done that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I just wanted to confirm whether one can see this or not.
No, sir, we are not able to see.
Not yet, sir. Actually, I had the written part ready for Mr. Vinod. You know, we were expecting him. So there's a pleasant change. I don't know. So, Mr. Praveen Khanna, you will have to introduce yourself.
Surely, ma'am, I'll do that. Surely, ma'am, I'll do
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the time the PPT gets loaded or it does not get loaded, I don't know what is happening with it, but I'll surely be sharing my thoughts with you, where I'll share certain pointers, and I would request all the students to please jot down the important points and the information, the one that I'm talking about, because this would make a good sense for you, right? Meanwhile, I'll also be working with a presentation. Let me see if it works out for us. Even if it does not, the session should make a good sense for all of us. So let me start with this. Very good afternoon to all of you. Namaskar from my side. And my name is Pratham, and I'm formally qualified to be a psychotherapist. And I have over 15 years of experience in education industry, where I train students from school level to IAS aspirants, right? Digital marketing is something, my hobby, which I've learned in last 6 months during the lockdown. I started my journey from the ad agency, and I'm also into train the trainers. So this is what a little information that I can provide about me here. There are many things that I would do, but for the while, if I cannot add on value to the students, then it doesn't make any sense for me to be here. So let me share my pointers here. I know that you cannot see the presentation, but still, I would continue with it, and I would love to share certain pointers. Boys and girls, what we need to understand here is for last 6 to 7 months, we are under the COVID impact, right? Things have changed a lot. There are many things that have changed over the period of time. In last 6 months, we have realized that now we are so much hooked to technology, and we are so much into technology that we cannot do away with it, right? Whether we like it, whether we do not like it, we are so much into technology that we cannot do away with it. So technology is something which is an inseparable part of our life. Now here, what we all need to understand, my dear little students, we need to understand that even if it is an inseparable part of our life, it has to have a healthy mix in our life. It should not create a problem in our life. That is what one of the important pointer that we need to understand here. Now, let me share where did I get the information from. I have attended over 180 webinars. I repeat, I have personally attended over 180 webinars from different sources. There were some from Fiki, some from Business Today, some from Guardian. There were NASCOM also. Many of them were paid, some of them were free. I attended several webinars to understand how things were and how things are changing over the period of time. So, boys and girls, I would love to know something from you. If anybody can unmute and help me out, can you tell me in last 7 months, everything was under the lockdown or everything was at its minimal, but there were certain industries which were running full-fledgedly. Can somebody help me out? Which industry, which organization were running without even a day's break? Can somebody help me out with it? Anybody can unmute that?
Ed tech companies.
Okay, edge tech companies. That's an interesting answer that I got. Good. Anybody else to help me out with?
Food resources companies.
Food resources. Food resources would refer to what? I am not getting that pointer there. Food resources would refer to what?
Like milk product.
Very good. Beautiful. Beautiful. Somebody else?
Medicine industry.
Medicine industry. One thing is for sure, I'm talking to the informed audience. Kudos, madams, teachers, parents, and everybody who are involved in it. I'm talking to the well-informed audience. I am going to enjoy this webinar. The only thing that I'll have is that I cannot see you, and neither I can show my face here just because of the camera and the technology problem. Otherwise, I would have loved to interact it with you. Kudos, teachers. This is an informed audience here. Wonderful. You rightly mentioned in there. But students, did you also realize that there were certain other things which you're working on? Yes, let me start with the one where you talked about medicine and the medical industry. Medicine and the medical industry was something which was on right from the day one. It was on right from the day one. One thing. Number two, somebody said milk. I'll add on something else to it. We also got bread daily. क्या आपने कभी देखा कि हमें एक भी दिन bread ना मिली हो? Is there any day that we did not get the bread? Forget about bread. Was there even a single day we did not get eggs? I mean, in case you take this, right? Was there even a single day we did not get cheese, right? Or butter, as a matter of fact, we got that daily, right? Let us move on to the second portion. Did you realize that Amazon and any big e-commerce websites, they were on, actually, they were being overloaded with it, right? They were on. Not even a single day Amazon had shut down its operation. Let me repeat, not even a single day Amazon had shut down its operation. So let me tell you that it was the e-commerce industry which was again working. Now, I want you to help me out and identify when I said that I was getting milk, I was getting bread, e-commerce industry was on, medicine industry was on, everyone was getting medicine, everyone was being from one place to another. Now, my question to all the informed students here is, what is a common factor between these all? What is a one common factor between these all? Any student? Anybody? Just give it a try. Give it a try.
Yes, students. No, this is just an informal chat. He's just trying to, get familiar with you all. So just say, what is one common thing? What is it?
Between the e-commerce industry, the milk that we got, the bread that we got, or the medicines that we got, whatever we ordered, we got that, and everything else was working. While 90% of the businesses were shut, right? They were being shut, they were under control of the lockdown, while it was only the 10% which was working, but still everything was on to the same pattern. Now you're supposed to identify and tell me what is the common factor between these all.
Srishti Gupta, what do you say?
All of them is an essential.
All of them were essential. Okay.
They are the real need of the life.
Real need of the life. Okay. Boys and girls, I'm not talking about any hypothetical answers. Please understand, I'm an extremely practical person. I don't understand theory. मुझको आज तक vision और mission के अंदर कोई difference पता नहीं लगा. I'm sorry, madam. I do not know the difference between a vision and mission statement. मैंने बहुत try किया ये theoretical understanding को जानने के लिए. I only understand practical. I'm a street smart person, right? And I can bet on that and I can vouch on it. But if you'll give me a question paper to solve anything and you'll ask me what is a gang plan, I sincerely do not know what is a gang plan. I sincerely do not understand any of these functions. But I only understand is a practical thing. Boys and girls, if you will identify a common factor between all of these, there is one thing called supply chain. In सब course supply chain के through चल रहा था. For example, anything that you got through e-commerce was again through a supply chain called courier management, right? वो courier boys आते थे जो आपके door के 100 मीटर दूर में छोड़ के चले जाते थे. Now this is what one. Supply chain. आपकी bread क्यों नहीं रुकी? क्योंकि उनको raw material उनको supply chain से मिलता रहा, and then they were churning in their supply chain. The churning supply chain was there, and then the output supply chain was also there. So did you realize one thing? चाहे वो medicine हो, चाहे वो essential items हो, चाहे वो कुछ भी हो, anything it is there. One thing that you have to understand, the supply chain was one of the common factors between these industries. Correct? So therefore they were working in there. One. So what did you understand by this? That one thing is for sure, that if you're the part of the supply chain management, right? If you're the part of the supply chain management, things would never stop. Things would never ever stop if you're the part of the supply chain management. This is what you'll have to understand. Number two, now can you tell me, during the lockdown, what all things or what all consumptions have changed or increased? Now I'm looking for an answer from students. Students, can you help me out? What are those things that you have started consuming more, or the change in the pattern of your lifestyle? You're supposed to give me the answer. Any student can help you out with.
Technology.
Technology. Okay, very good, Bhavik. So Bhavik says that it is about technology which has worked up. Okay, anybody else? Anybody else to help you out with? Okay, so let me give you an answer to this. Number one, so go step by step. One thing was all about that internet was an inseparable part of life. Internet had become an inseparable part of life. And let me tell you one thing, हमारे घर में एक ग्लूकोमीटर हो ना हो, हमारे घर में एक ऑक्सीमीटर हो ना हो, बट इंटरनेट को मेजर करने वाला speedtest.com की वेबसाइट हमेशा खुली रहती है. We are so much into that even if our speed goes from 50 to 10, we have a different heartache. No, I'll not call it a heart attack, but I'll call it a heartache because my internet is going slow. It was not because of you did not even realize that what was the oxygen rate. You were least bothered about whether it was 95, 94, 89, but you were most bothered about your internet connection. One. Number two, you were bothered about your mobile phone and laptop being fully charged. As soon as they went into 10, and when you saw that red color battery, you were like, oh God, I need oxygen. Actually, a mobile phone needed oxygen, right? So now the things have changed a lot. Mobile phones, the technology, let me call it mobile phone. Mobile phones have become the extension of your hand. Let me repeat this statement. We call this to be as mobile phone to be the extension of your hand. 2 मिनट के लिए आपका मोबाइल फोन लेफ्ट से राइट हो, यू हैव अ डिफरेंट फीलिंग ऑल टुगेदर, राइट? खाना नहीं मिलता, कोई बात नहीं है. 2 घंटे डिले हो जाए खाना, कोई बात नहीं है. You are least bothered about the food, but you are much bothered about the mobile phone should be there in your hand, right? Whether you are looking at it or not, it's a different thing in that. It is known as an extension of a hand. Boys and girls, what I'm trying to help you out here is, please do not be a victim. Please do not be a victim, but try on being the other side of the table. You are for the while only at a consumption level. Please move on to the selling level. Please move on at the delivery level. Please move on at the supply level and not at a consumption level. Boys and girls, I hope I'm making sense on this. Okay, so I'm sure I'm
Very audible. You're very audible, sir. You're talking about practicality of life, which is the need of the hour, actually.
Correct. Wonderful, man. Yes. Now, what also we need to understand is, during this lockdown, do you know that Netflix business had risen by 200%, right? Netflix ka business during the lockdown had gone up, shot up by 200%. And let me tell you, Zoom ka business, Zoom.us I'm talking about, Zoom.us was 2000% in the last quarter. Do you guys, can you imagine 2000%? ये सिर्फ सपने वाला नंबर होता है. ये windfall gains में ही आता है, and that's what they are receiving, that 2000% increase in their revenue. Now this is what we'll have to understand as a part of it. Things have gone online, and we don't see that in near future anything would change drastically. Yes, the things would change one day, perhaps when you will get old, when I'll get old, when I'll not be there. Once you get old, then obviously things are going to change in there. But for the next few years, we don't see any drastic changes happening in there. One thing. Number two, you also need to understand that most of the things have gone online, right? First, understand, how many of us have seen the Paytm games? That most of the games, right? You must have seen that advertisement. आपने वो advertisement तो जरूर देखा होगा, जहाँ पे ये होता है कि तुम जाके चाय बना लो, मैं IPL पे टीम बनाता हूँ. How many of us have seen this advertisement? Just say yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. Very good. So most of you would have seen this advertisement. Now they are cashing on it, right? These are the ones which are cashing on it. Boys and girls, what I'm trying to help you out with is that you are supposed to go with what the industries are demanding. You are actually on the other side of it. You should actually be on the selling side, because you are the future of the country. So please understand this, right? Again, one pointer that will contradict my point is, sir, aren't you promoting materialism? So somebody would say, Praveen sir, aren't you promoting materialism where you should be here to talk about spiritualism, or you should be talking about something that the minimum consumption should be done for the survival? Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, teachers, parents, everybody, please understand on this part. I am not talking about materialism. The only thing that I'm talking about is the economy flow. I'm only talking about the economy flow. Please understand what I'm saying. Let me say this statement again, what I'm actually trying to say. I am saying that if you have 2 lakh rupees, which you have earned, and it is a kind of a saving for you, please go and buy 1.5 lakh rupee mobile phone. iPhone 12 Pro launch ho gaya, kharid lijiye, right? But if your pocket money is 10,000 rupees, avoid buying even OnePlus 5T. Boys and girls, I hope you're understanding my point, what I'm trying to say. So it is not bad to buy things. It is really not bad to buy things, but at the right time, at the right place should be done in there. The money should be invested or spent at the right thing and not unnecessary. That is what I'm trying to help you out with. I'm trying to balance between the economical structure, the economy, the way economy runs in there, and the spirituality. Please understand, both things would go in there. जैसे कहते हैं खाली पेट पूजा नहीं होती है, तो obviously पहले आपको पेट भरना पड़ेगा, right? First you need to get satiated with these elements in there. Has anybody read a book called The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari by any chance? How many of us have heard a book called The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari and have heard a character called Julia? Anybody? How many of us have heard the name book, right? So ma'am would have surely heard about that. Obviously, you would have read the book in there. Now, if you read that book in there, boys and girls, number one, if you're not in the habit of reading book, I can also tell you what is the trick of reading books. I have all the tricks to work with it, because I am not a diligent student, but I'm a smart student. That's what I'll call it, right? Okay, let's come back to the issue. So, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, this is a book which is again on the same patterns in there, which says that yes, you're looking for a satisfaction, and the satisfaction is what that you'll get from the inner peace, but that inner peace has to be in sync with the outer world, right? ये दोनों चीजों को sync करके आगे बढ़ना है, and that is what I'm recommending and suggesting all of you to get into this, right? Boys and girls who got my point, just say yes, 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 yes. I'm looking for a random yes from you.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for going for it. Now, let me proceed and let me help you out with what are the careers that you can get into. Boys and girls, I would recommend something called Industry 4.0. How many of us have heard about it? I am looking for an answer called yo. Okay. Now, faculty members are sitting over here, so please say yes. Otherwise, we would have said yo, right? Please say yes if you have heard about Industry 4.0. Okay, not many students would have heard about Industry 4.0. Now let me share something. What is Industry 4.0? Boys and girls, everything has gone online, as I'm talking about. Do you also know that every function is now going online? Whatever that you talk about. Do you know there are esports which have been conducted? Now, do you know there are 4D pujas which are happening? So for example, if somebody cannot go to Kedarnath, if somebody cannot go to the south, if somebody cannot go to Madhya Pradesh or Ujjain, now they are doing e-pujas which are in the format of a 4D format. That means there is a room, and that room would be set in there, and by sitting there, it would look like as if you're paying homage to that particular god or goddesses. Now, this is what been happening, and this is what going to be continued. Boys and girls, let me tell you one thing. In order to make something a habit, it requires 21 days. This is proven psychological concept. ये मैं अपनी जेब में से नहीं बता रहा हूँ. Everyone would buy this point. आप इसे Google कर. आज की तारीख में कोई झूठ नहीं बोल सकता actually. Google Baba talks about anything. हाँ, कुछ देर के लिए Google Baba was absent yesterday, right? I think day before yesterday. कुछ आधे घंटे के लिए absent थे. Otherwise वो हमेशा present रहते हैं, right? So even if I talk about this, please understand, it takes 21 days. It takes 21 days to form a habit, and you are in a lockdown you are there in the lockdown for more than 200 days. Boys and girls, welcome to the world. Welcome to the world. अब ये जो आदत आपको लगी है, ये जो habit लगी है, अब what you are supposed to come out of this and be on the other side of the table. Please come out and be on the other side of the table. Now this other side is Industry 4.0. Boys and girls, I would request you just write this word down, Industry 4.0. अब मैं आपको बताता हूँ Industry 4.0 है क्या. How many of us have heard of a concept called 3D printing? How many of us have heard a concept called 3D printing? I would request you to please say, yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Very good,
Yes.
lovely, very good for it. Do you know that the 3D printing models are being used in schools now? Say, for example, even in your school, you might not be even aware of that the 3D models have been used. For example, the heart model. The heart model is primarily a 3D printed model, or a brain model in where you see it in your school labs, right? Biology lab. You would find this, that these are primarily the 3D models which have been printed, which can be taken into different parts. ये इस तरह से बने होते हैं कि आप सारे हार्ट के पार्ट अलग-अलग करके, and even the veins you would find that, even the blood structures you would find in there. Everything is something which is coming on to the 3D printing part, right? इसको बोलते हैं 3D printing, right? I'm giving you one example, which is 3D printing. And do you know this 3D printing is the part of Industry 4.0? This is the part of an Industry 4.0. Let me go ahead to the second pointer. This is the same thing 3D printing I'm talking about. ये तो रहा school में. Can somebody help me out? Where do you use 3D printing models? Where do you use 3D printing models? Can somebody help me out with? Where do you use 3D printing model? क्योंकि हमें सब इससे इतना ही पता है स्कूल तक, उससे आगे चलते हैं. पहले आपको पता तो हो उसका स्कोप क्या है, आपको पता तो होना चाहिए, करेक्ट? नाउ प्लीज बॉयज एंड गर्ल्स, डू नॉट थिंक अबाउट इट, सर मैं तो एक कॉमर्स का स्टूडेंट हूं, मैं तो एक ह्यूमैनिटीज का स्टूडेंट हूं, सर आप साइंस की बात इतनी देर से कर रहे हैं. आर यू एन इंजीनियर? बॉयज एंड गर्ल्स, लेट मी टेल यू, आई एम अ दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी प्रोडक्ट, आई एम अ बीकॉम ऑनर्स प्रोडक्ट, एंड आई एम nowhere related with engineering, but what I'm talking about is the need of the hour. What I'm talking about is need of the hour, and these are the careers which are going to survive for next 40 years. Bet on that part. 40 years. Please understand, I'll take the answer in some time, but before that, let me help you out with things in there. Do you know that the Bill Gates, in one of the books, he categorically mentioned that by the time this Industry 4.0 would saturate, every individual should learn coding. Every individual should learn coding. अच्छा, इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि आप चिंटू की तरह से लग जाएंगे और आपके पीछे सब लोग आएंगे और आप कहेंगे चिंटू ने ऐड बनाया, आपने वो ऐप बनाया, and everybody would buy that. No, I'm not saying that. But at least you should get acquainted with the information. आप कैसे यूज कर सकते हैं, कैसे नहीं, मैं इसके बारे में अभी डिस्कशन करूंगा. But for the while, can you give me an example of 3D printing by any chance? Any 3D printing example?
It's used in prototypes.
I'm sorry, say again, please.
Prototypes for making.
It is prototype, but what kind of prototype? Where would that be used? That's what my question. Where would I be using these prototypes? Okay, let me share. Do you know that the car models now, right? When I talk about Tesla, when I talk about Hyundai, when I talk about Maruti, any car manufacturers are now using 3D models to manufacture their parts. Now, the question comes in, sir, do you really believe the 3D model, क्या हमारी कार एक प्लास्टिक की कार होगी? नहीं सर, नहीं. आपको ये नहीं पता है that the 3D model is not just about plastic. It is also titanium, right? It is also titanium. It is also the liquid steel that is what been put and then you cast in there. It has got nothing just to do with plastic. It has got just nothing not to do with the nylon, but way beyond that. These are things that we'll have to understand. Our cars are using 3D models. और तो और क्या आपको पता है जो नए एयरप्लेन्स बन रहे हैं, जितने भी नए एयरप्लेन्स बनते हैं, उनके अंदर के पार्ट्स आर अगेन बीन 3D मॉडल. आपको हमको 3D प्रिंटिंग के हिसाब से ऐसा लग रहा है एक प्रिंटर जो कि स्कूल में पड़ा होता है, घर में पड़ा होता है, यू जस्ट स्विच इट ऑन, एक पेपर डाला, नीचे से उसकी कॉपी आ गया, दिस इज व्हाट अ प्रिंटिंग इन दैट. नो, the 3D printing models are huge. 3D printing models are huge and you can be the part of it. मैं आपको एक example देता हूँ. Last 3 months में lockdown, in the first 3 months जब lockdown चल रहा था, जब पूरी दुनिया lockdown के अंदर थी, where the entire world, nobody was moving out in there, do you know that Nike started with a 3D printing model? Nike said that we are a designer shoe. We are a designer shoe and we want to now give shoes to the people around. और 3 महीने से उनका कोई सेल नहीं हुआ था. So what did they started in there? They said that we will give you a design. Please go to the nearby 3D printing shop, right, which we will associate with, and please get your shoe made there, right? So please understand, ये अभी इंडिया का नहीं था. They started with the Netherlands and all. They started with the Poland and all, जहाँ पे 3D printing के models available हैं, material available था, nylon material was also available in that. Then they started with that. This is what you'll have to understand, that things are way beyond what you think of. आप लोग जो सोच रहे हैं चीजें उससे बहुत आगे की है. So, for example, let me give you another example. Do you know there's something called a cognitive computing which is going on? How many of us are aware of a concept called an RFID? कितने लोगों को पता है what is an RFID? Just type in, not type in obviously. You're supposed to speak yes, yes, yes. RFID, radio frequency identification, RFID. Boys and girls, whenever you go on a national highway, from one state to another state, and when you get that toll plaza, the payment is made through RFID. I hope आपको पता होगा RFID का टैग है सबके पास, फास्ट टैग. Answer comes in yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That is what an RFID tags in there. इस RFID टैग से आप चीजों को ट्रेस कर सकते हैं. Now this is again a tracing system which is coming up, and nowadays companies have also starting with it. बड़े-बड़े जब शोरूम होते हैं, जब बहुत सारा वेयरहाउस होता है, ये RFID टेक्नोलॉजी is something that saves the time and energy for the people around, right? आपको पता होता है कौन सी चीज कहां तक कहां पे. लाइव स्टॉक्स, लेट मी टेल यू, लाइव स्टॉक्स को रिकॉर्ड करने के लिए और देखने के लिए कि लाइव स्टॉक्स कहां तक स्प्रेड है, RFID technology is being used in there. I hope you understand what are livestocks. The livestocks would refer to as all those buffaloes, cows, goats, and all, sheep, and all. So these are livestocks. They get into this and they know where the spread is all about. Okay, let me go to one last pointer here, which is what been considered to be as IoT. How many of us are aware of IoT? Answer would come in yes or no. IoT. How many of us are aware of IoT? Internet of Things. I'm sure you must be aware of this, which is known as IoT. IoT का मतलब है कि आज की तारीख में सभी चीजें इंटरनेट से कनेक्टेड होती हैं. Everything has been IoT there, right? आपका पूरा मोबाइल फोन, the complete mobile phone is a dummy piece if it does not have a 4G in it, right? किसी को पसंद नहीं आता 4G के बिना, right? Even the class that we are taking is an IoT function. That you are sitting at some different place, I'm sitting at a different place. It's an example of an IoT. Another pointer, do you know that the mobile technology has grown over the period of time? बहुत सारी चीजें आ गई हैं इस mobile technology में. There is another pointer which is known as robotics, which is the part of the industry 4.0. Again, many of you might be thinking of, sir, आप इतनी बड़ी बातें क्यों कर रहे हैं? हम तो कॉमर्स के स्टूडेंट, हम तो साइंस के स्टूडेंट नहीं है. Why are you discussing about this, boys and girls? In order to choose a career, you are first supposed to choose what is going to run in the near future. मैं आपको एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल देता हूं, बीच में IoT का बात मैं बाद में करूंगा. मैं जब सेशंस लेता हूं, there are several sessions that I take. मेरे पास स्टूडेंट्स आते हैं. By default, they are being tuned into certain elements. For example, सर मैं ह्यूमैनिटीज का स्टूडेंट हूं, या तो मैं लॉ लूंगा, या तो मैं पॉलिटिकल साइंस लूंगा, नहीं तो सर मैं IAS करूंगा. करेक्ट सर, मुझे आप IAS के लिए तरीका बता दो. फिर मैं उनसे हेल्प करता हूं, उन्हें बताता हूं कि आपको पता है IAS बनने के लिए कम से कम आपको 4 साल जिंदगी के चाहिए. Are you ready to give that? 1. Number 2, क्या आपको पता है दिन के 6 से 8 घंटे 6 days a week आपको पढ़ना पड़ेगा? Are you ready for the standard books? Number 3, are you ready to cram certain facts in there? Because until unless you do have your facts ready, you cannot have your opinion ready for it. So can you formulate an opinion, right? So can you write? Do you have a good handwriting? जब ये सारे पैरामीटर्स आते हैं, फिर स्टूडेंट से नहीं सर, आई थिंक IAS ना करके मैं SSC कर लूंगा सर, कोई बात नहीं, थैंक यू. करेक्ट. आई होप बॉयज एंड गर्ल्स प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड कि आपको जाना कहां पर है. बाहर से सब चीजें बहुत स्वैंकी लगती है. एवरीथिंग इज गुड, राइट? इट्स अ यो कंडीशन, बट इट्स ओनली वंस यू गेट इन देयर यू रियलाइज whether the things are useful for you or not. So that is what one would have to think into. Say for example, one of my friend is into nanotechnology, right? One of my friend is into nanotechnology. He is an IT researcher. So now he says there's something called nanotechnology that I'm working on. शायद मुझे nanotechnology के बारे में पता भी नहीं था आज से कुछ साल पहले. I'm talking about some 5 years back. I had no clue about what the nanotechnology is all about. While sitting with him over the cup of coffee, I realized that nanotechnology is so vast field कि अब आपके कपड़े, मेरे कपड़े वायरस फ्री होने वाले हैं. सो अब जब उस फाइबर के ऊपर कुछ इस तरह से कोटिंग होगी जिस तरह से वायरस मेरे कपड़ों के ऊपर ना चिपक सके, नाउ दैट वुड बी कंसिडर्ड टू बी एज अ नैनो टेक्नोलॉजी. Boys and girls, I hope you are there with me. Just say yes once.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is what we are talking about as in Industry 4.0. Okay, another pointer. Do you know in last 6 months, most of the healthcare sectors, including hospitals and the medical centers, have been attacked by the cyber attackers. There have been cyber attacks which had happened maximum in last 6 months. जाके सारा डेटा ऑनलाइन पड़ा है, सारा देख लेना, करेक्ट. बाकी अब टाइम वेस्ट होगा अगर आप सर्च करेंगे. एक आधा डेटा जरूर सर्च कर लेना, राइट. प्लीज सर्च फॉर one of the data at least. So in last 6 months there were the maximum cyber attacks क्योंकि उन्हें पता था सब चीजें ऑनलाइन आ गई हैं. And even the hospitals would be the case in there. You would have seen that in Noida and Delhi there were several hospitals which were being hacked by the hackers just for the sake of money in there, right? So ये another profession उन लोगों का था और यहाँ पे बचाने के लिए आते थे which are what been known as ethical hacking, right? यहाँ पे बचाने के लिए आए थे ethical hackers, right? इंडिया के बहुत सारे, अंकित फादिया was the first one to start with it. आप लोगों ने जरूर नाम सुना होगा. अब तो बहुत सारे हैं the one who was ethical hackers in India. Now they were the one to come and save, but उनमें से कई अभी भी इंडिया के अंदर सेव नहीं कर पाए. एंड द कंपनीज आर सपोज्ड टू पे अ ह्यूज सम ऑफ मनी. अच्छा, मजेदार बात, ये लोग सिर्फ पेटीएम या गूगल से नहीं मांगते हैं, ये मांगते हैं सीधा बिटकॉइन से. Boys and girls, you have to create an account online which is related to the Bitcoin and then you pay them. कोई पेटीएम से मांगे तो फिर भी कोई पैसे दे भी देगा. But that was again a problem in there. For most of the organizations did not have that kind of an account where they could pay through Bitcoins in there. So this is what you'll have to understand कि चीजें कहाँ पे जा रही हैं. Only and only once you know this, then only you can track your things along with it. अब सवाल ये आता है, सर आपने अभी तक जितनी भी बात हमसे की है सारी बात साइंस की है. आपने ह्यूमैनिटीज की बात नहीं की, आपने सोशियोलॉजी की बात नहीं की, आपने साइकोलॉजी बात नहीं की, सर आपने चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंसी की बात नहीं की. वंडरफुल बॉयज, प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड what I'm saying is that there are two kinds of people who will survive in near future. Correct. This is the information that I've got from last 180 odd webinars that I've attended, right? FICCI के webinars recorded available है online. जाके किसी के पास अगर टाइम हो 2 दिन का तो सारे webinars प्लीज देख लीजिए, right? आपको सब पता लग जाएगा. NASSCOM का वेबसाइट के ऊपर webinars के references हैं. पिछले सारे recorded webinars available हैं जो free वाले थे, वो सारे के सारे आप देख सकते हैं. You would realize one thing, that there will be two kind of people, the one who will survive. एक वो लोग, the one who can contribute to this technology, I repeat, the one who can contribute to this technology, and the second variety who can utilize this technology. I repeat, there are two kinds of people who would survive. The one who can contribute to this technology, या तो मुझे artificial intelligence बनाना आता हो, I know machine learning, I know deep learning, I can do little coding, I can understand, I can get into hacking, या फिर दूसरे वो जो इस चीज को इस्तेमाल कर सके. Correct. Did you realize in last 6 months, we faculty members, the faculty fraternity, were not used to teaching online, right? Barring few, we were not used to teaching online there. We were much comfortable with a whiteboard. एक whiteboard होता जहाँ पे हम chalk चलाते या marker चलाते duster के साथ, and then we have a smell factor, right? हमारे सारे senses उसी के साथ related थे. All those faculty members who have come online are the survivors. मैं सिर्फ छोटा सा आपको एग्जांपल दे रहा हूं. All those students who could understand that laptop and mobile is to be used in the right direction are the survivors. For the remaining have been, they have been there's a word called, removed. They have been taken out. They have been sacked for the remaining of the ones. So दो तरीके के लोग, एक वो जो contribute करेंगे, दूसरे वो लोग जो लोग उसको यूज करेंगे. तो आपको उसको सही तरीके से यूज करना आना चाहिए. अब सवाल ये आता है, सर हाउ वुड आई बी यूजिंग दिस इन, मैं ह्यूमैनिटीज का स्टूडेंट हूं सर. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इफ यू पिक साइकोलॉजी एज अ कोर्स, हाउ मेनी ऑफ अस आर इंटरेस्टिंग टू पिक साइकोलॉजी एज अ कोर्स? हाउ मेनी ऑफ अस प्लान टू गेट इनटू साइकोलॉजी मेजर एट डिफरेंट यूनिवर्सिटीज? एनीबडी हियर? Okay, so there are some students who have raised their hands, Mehak and all. Good enough. So what I can understand is that you want to take psychology. So if you want to take psychology, do you know that gone are those days when you used to have a couch, right? जब couch पे आप register, आप लोगों ने देखा होगा ऐसी picture हमें अधिकतर देखने को दिखती है, the Carl Jung variety, the Sigmund Freud variety. We generally get that kind of a picture where you do have a couch और उस पे बैठ के आप client customer को बिठा के, the patient को बिठा के, and then you start doing things in there. अब जमाना वो सब चला गया है. The artificial intelligence structures have come in. The artificial structures have come in. Do you know, psychology के अंदर आपको सिर्फ एक कमरे के अंदर दिया जाता है. कमरे के अंदर there are 24 cameras which have been captured in there. आपके हर एक word में कौन सा pressure दिया, the choice of words, the choice of sentences, the choice of looking, how do you react at certain condition, ये सारी चीजें रिकॉर्ड होगी. आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस आपको एक रिपोर्ट दे देता है कि आप अगले कितने साल तक जीने वाले हैं, आपका क्या एटीट्यूड है, आपके रिलेशनशिप कैसे रहेंगे, हाउ वुड यू बी गोइंग इन दैट. बॉयज एंड गर्ल्स, वेलकम टू द वर्ल्ड ऑफ एआई. डू यू नो, आज की तारीख में प्राइवेट बैंक्स की जो भर्ती होती है उसके लिए एचआर की कोई खास जरूरत नहीं होती. एचआर से वो एक डॉक्यूमेंट साइन कराने के लिए रहते हैं. फॉर द मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल अराउंड, have been selected. Most of the people have been selected through an artificial intelligence process. There are different tests with which they are being observed there. I hope everybody is getting my point. Once more, just say yes if you're there with me.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Well, I hope that has been an enjoyable session and not a boring session. मुझे खुद भी बोरिंग चीजें नहीं पसंद है. आई एम सॉरी बॉयज एंड गर्ल्स, तो मैं भी बोर नहीं कर सकता हूँ, ना मैं बोर हो सकता हूँ. आई होप एवरीबॉडी इज कंफर्टेबल विद मी.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Yes,
hearing
sir.
you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you. Now let me proceed with this. Now, I come from a commerce background, sir. I want to take financial analyst as a function. Wonderful. If you want to get into the financial analyst, do you know that there's something called a data science or data research that you are supposed to understand first, which is now the part of the artificial intelligence? किसी भी कंपनी को वैल्यूएशन करने से पहले आपके पास वो जो डेटा क्रंचिंग के बाद आप निकाल के लाते हैं कि पिछले इतने सालों से इतने सालों तक these were the profits and these were the losses. What do I interpret by this? That would be done by a data science, right? आज की तारीख में data science is something which is again going in an extremely big way, which is known as a data crunching. Boys and girls, अगर आप लोग ये सोच रहे हैं बिना मैथ्स के मैं बहुत दूर तक पहुंच जाऊंगा, तो प्लीज जिस दिन पहुंचे उस दिन मुझे बताइएगा जरूर. माय नेम इज प्रवीण खन्ना. बताइएगा जरूर कि बिना मैथ्स के, बिना गणित के, बिना इकोनॉमिक्स और बिना स्टैटिस्टिक्स के कितना आगे तक निकला जा सकता है. प्लीज हेल्प मी आउट विद इट. बिकॉज अगर आपकी भी न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी देखेंगे उसमें बड़े बड़े बोल्ड शब्दों में यही चीज लिखी है दैट दे विल बी कंसंट्रेटिंग मोर ऑन स्टेम. I hope, boys and girls, you know what is STEM. STEM would refer to as science, tech, engineering, maths. This is what we need to work with, right? Obviously, psychology, philosophy, sociology, geography, history would be the contributor to this industry 4.0 in some other way, or they will also be taking back and using this information. But you also need to understand that, but the peripheral has to be on the basis of calculations. Boys and girls, मैं आपको एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल देता हूँ. ठीक है, वो एग्जांपल सही है, मैं आपको एक एग्जांपल देता हूँ. Boys and girls, when I was in my graduation, I used to go for gymming, right? So 11th 12th graduation में I was much into gymming. उस समय नए नए सलमान खान आए थे, तो it was like I was inspired by Salman Khan, and so I thought कि चलो चलते हैं and let's have a V-shaped body, right? So inspiration अच्छा था, और घर पे my father also used to say that one should have a healthy body, right? So ठीक है गए. So I used to go for gymming, and after gymming for a few hours, there's always a thing like, do you know that whenever there is a flight, there is something known as an ascent, right? There's an ascent, and then there is something known as the curvature, and then there's something known as a descent. That would refer to as पहले एरोप्लेन एक फ्लाइट पकड़ता है, फिर उसका एक लेवल आता है, और उसके बाद फिर नीचे आता है. उसी तरह से जिमिंग के अंदर भी there is always a process that once you have done the warm up and you have done the exercise, you are supposed to soothe your body, correct? So for soothing my body, I had a little problem that I had a protruding pulses. That would refer to as मेरा जितना भी vein system था वो protrude करता था. Protrude होने का मतलब यहाँ पे ये है कि that it used to show, right? जैसे muscle men के दिखते हैं ना, तो वैसे show करता है, उसे relax करना होता है, right? Through massages, right? There are some special massages that are to be done. So after that, once a week or even once in 1 month, I used to go for that kind of a massage, which is again a massage to soothe the body so that ये protrude ज़्यादा ना करे और it should be strengthened in there, correct? Okay, that were those days, and those are the days now. मैं तभी डेबिट कार्ड मैंने इस्तेमाल करना शुरू कर दिया था in my time in there, और मैं आज भी यूज करता हूँ. Now, listen to me what I'm trying to say. Boys and girls, through this artificial intelligence and the data use, पहले मेरे पास messages आते थे full body massage के, and looking into my eating habits and everything and my age, अब मेरे पास message आते हैं full body checkup के. Boys and girls, how many of us are smiling? How many of us are smiling and laughing at me, right? So, did you realize something? That things have gone to a different level. How did they know कि मेरा eating pattern क्या है? उन्हें कैसे पता मैं 6 से 8 घंटे मुझे स्क्रीन के सामने बैठता हूँ? उन्हें कैसे? Now, welcome to the world of artificial intelligence, boys and girls. Everything is now being calculated, and you are the target of this. Instead of you being the target of this, please make sure that you utilize that to target somebody else and not yourself in a right sense. That is what my suggestion here. So boys and girls, what I'm actually trying to help you out with is the things have changed. The things have changed over the period of time. Hence, your elements of thinking should also change, right? Now, so for example, somebody said, sir, I want to get into hotel management. Please get into hotel management. It's a wonderful career that you need to get in there, but also make sure that you do have an aesthetics to understand. Hotel management is not about cooking. It is not about chef. Primarily, हमारे अंदर एक problem है. हमारे अंदर मैं यही कहूँगा, हमारे अंदर problem है that we generally do is कि अगर मान लीजिए मैंने screwdriver उठा लिया, तो मेरे दादाजी कहते हैं कि मेरा बेटा इंजीनियर बनेगा. जिस दिन मैंने फुटबॉल उठा ली, एक दिन फुटबॉल खेली थी, मेरे दादाजी कहते हैं फुटबॉलर बनेगा, राइट? जिस दिन मैंने एक नोट उठा के अपनी जेब में रखा, मेरे दादाजी ने कहा कि मेरा बेटा गवर्नर बनेगा. Now, I hope you are understanding my point. How dreams come up, but they do not know what exactly I'm looking for. Please understand this. This is just what known as a little interest. And interest can be developed over the period of time. मैं आपको एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल देता हूँ. जैसे वेबिनार अभी डिलीवर हो रहा है, ऐसी मैं एक वेबिनार आज से 6 महीने पहले डिलीवर कर रहा था. There was one of the student there where I was discussing with the student, and let me tell you what was the issue there. The student was interested in writing. The student was interested in writing. Boys and girls, आपको मुझे अब ये बताना है. उस स्टूडेंट ने मेरे से सिर्फ इतना कहा that sir, I'm interested in writing. What should I do? Can somebody help me out? What should he be doing? What should he be doing? He's interested in writing. What should he be doing?
Author.
Author. Okay. Somebody else?
Content writer.
Content writer. Congratulations, school. I'm impressed with this. I never got this answer from any of the schools in there. Congratulations, ma'am.
Blog writing.
Sincerely. Yeah, go ahead. Subha, please say again.
Blog writing.
Blog writing. Wonderful. Right? Most of the people around him had suggested, तुम author बन जाओ. तुम बन जाओ बड़े author and you will become a big person in that. But he said that I cannot produce one thought for a longer duration of time. मेरे को छोटे thoughts आते हैं and I can only take smaller ideas in there. I cannot get into the bigger picture. तब उसने बताया कि सर मेरे साथ एक प्रॉब्लम है. If you'll ask me to read a book for 100 days, if you'll ask me to read a book for 100 days, a 100-pager book, I cannot read that book. चाहे वो चेतन भगत ही क्यों ना हो, चाहे वो मिल्स एंड बून्स ही क्यों ना हो, I cannot read such books in that. I cannot read any book. फिर मैंने उससे पूछा कि आप क्या पढ़ सकते हैं. He said, सर मैं पढ़ सकता हूँ एक दिन में 100 pages, but all those 100 pages should be something different. उसके अंदर philosophy, sociology, anthropology, nanoscience. It should also talk about philosophy. I mean, it should have anything and everything in there, but I cannot stick to one pointer for 100 pages. Wonderful. I said, why don't you start writing blogs? So I guided him to write the blogs. He started writing with the blogs in there. And then he said, sir, I've started writing the blogs. What is the next step? Then I guided him that he should be getting into a content writing for the website. He started writing for the websites. There are different websites which are coming up then. क्योंकि लोगों के पास और कुछ तो था नहीं, उन्होंने सोचा सब कुछ ऑनलाइन जाना है तो कंटेंट राइटर बाहर से हायर करो. So they hired him as a content writer, and he has till now been doing content writing for more than 14 websites. अभी लास्ट मेरी बात हुई थी 3 दिन पहले. He has done a content writing for 14 websites, 14 websites. Boys and girls, welcome to the world. This is what been known as a continuity. This is what been known as a perseverance and a discipline. किसी भी चीज का एक ही होता है और वो होता है discipline. Only and only if you are disciplined, then only you get something. If you are not disciplined, तब तो कुछ भी कभी भी कुछ भी मिल जाएगा. God knows about it. So please make sure that you follow discipline for this, right? Also, I would recommend and request everybody that please make sure that you should have certain goals and dreams to follow, and that should be in sync with what is going to come in near future and not on the basis of the past. ऐसे इस वेबिनार में एक स्टूडेंट ने कहा, सर मेरे को तो सिर्फ चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट ही बनना है. मैंने कहा बिल्कुल बनिए, मगर आपको कैसे पता चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट कौन होता है? He said, मेरे चाचा जी चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट हैं, उनके दोनों बेटे चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट हैं. चाचा जी ने फर्म खोली है और दोनों बेटे उनके साथ काम करते हैं. चाचा जी का 1 CR का ओवरऑल टर्नओवर है, वो भी 25 लाख के करीब कंट्रीब्यूट करते हैं, तो ओवरऑल 1.5 CR की उनकी इनकम है. वेरी गुड, congratulations चाचा जी. But at the end of the day, what we need to understand, boys and girls, here is that every individual is different in capacity. One should not be gauging on the reference of money, but on the basis of the skill sets that one would have. What kind of skill sets that you have and with which you can get it done. मैं आपको बहुत सारे मेरे पास examples हैं, बहुत सारे. मैं बहुत सारी communities के साथ जुड़ा हुआ हूँ online, and I know about this. Do you know digital marketing के अंदर अगर आप जाके देखेंगे that who are the people who are doing great, ये वो लोग हैं जो मध्य प्रदेश के गांव में से आते हैं. करें, ये वो लोग हैं जो आपको कन्याकुमारी के एक छोटे से कस्बे के अंदर से आते हैं. राइट, these are the people who will come from the Banswara district, right, which is a tribal area actually, a tribal area in there, but they were disciplined in that. मैं आपको ये चीज मैं कहता हूँ, please research on this point in there. Most of the people who are doing digital marketing, apart from the Neil Patel and all, right, the Neil Patel or the other people, or even Avi Arya, who are from Canada or one is from the US, वो एक अलग बात है. But majority I'm talking about, you would find that they would come from the smaller places. हमारे साथ problem ये है, जितनी amenities मिलती है उन amenities को हम खो देते हैं. मगर अगर इन amenities को अगर हम utilize करने लगे तो इसका compounding reference निकलेगा. Boys and girls, that is what my recommendation to everybody. Make sure that everybody gets into this picture, correct? Okay. So going back to the issue, chartered accountancy. So somebody said, "Sir, chartered accountancy बनना है." मैं कहा ठीक है, आप chartered accountant बनिए. क्या आपको ये चीज आती है? Do you understand and love numbers? No, sir, I don't. Right? क्या आपको पता है that the chartered accountancy का success rate is not even 2%? That means out of the 100 students, there are only 2 students who get selected and who complete the chartered accountancy. क्या आपको पता है? क्या chartered accountant बनने के लिए 6 साल की जरूरत होती है? क्या आपको पता है? क्या उसके लिए 24 papers पढ़ने पड़ते, 24 books पढ़नी पड़ती हैं, which are of a good length, size, diameter, whatever that you call it, right? उनका circumference बहुत strong होता है. क्या आपको पता है that you are supposed to read those 24 books in there? Sir, पता नहीं है. Now you are only looking for an end result, but you're not looking for a process. You will be in a problem. Please make sure ये law of attraction नहीं है जहाँ पे सिर्फ आपको end result देखना है, process नहीं देखना. देखो जिंदगी में आपको ये चीज समझनी पड़ेगी that everything is a mixture of different things. Law of attraction कहता है that only look for the end result, don't look for the process. But the practicality says that you'll also have to see for a process, not just an end result. So that's a mixture of 2 elements. That's what we'll have to understand on the spot, right? There was another student who said that, sir, I want to get into law. Can you help me out how to get in and what are the requirements for it? Now, ये correct question था. There I helped him out with that. Do you know that in India, we lack people who are not the cyber security experts? Right? So we require cyber security law professional. So आज की तारीख में अगर आप corporate law करने चाहते हैं, इससे ज्यादा for the next 30 years, अभी जैसे मैंने आपसे कहा ना, contribute मैं कैसे करूं? How would I be contributing into industry 4.0? When you take law when you understand cybersecurity and you expertise in cybersecurity, you're contributing to Industry 4.0. Am I making sense to everybody, boys and girls? Correct? This is what the contribution I'm talking about. How would you be doing in that? क्या आपको पता है ये self-driven cars, which is machine to machine learning, अभी सर सब लोग बना रहे हैं, मगर सब लोग सड़क पे क्यों नहीं लेके आ रहे? वो इसलिए नहीं लेके आ रहे because there is a philosophical angle pending to it, right? फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अगर कार के अंदर एक सवारी बैठी है और बाहर कोई क्रॉस कर रहे हैं और उनकी गलती की वजह से कार को रुकना पड़े, तो क्या करे? कार रुके या टक्कर मारे? दिस इज अ फिलॉसफी। रिएक्ट करना चाहिए, कोडिंग कोड उसकी बाद में होगी, राइट? बट इट्स अ फिलोसॉफिकल एंगल। वन इज सपोज्ड टू सिट एंड डिसाइड ऑन द पैरामीटर्स, राइट? Similarly, if you look into the farmer bill, मैं नहीं बताऊंगा कि उसमें गलत क्या है, पॉजिटिव क्या है, I'm not here to discuss about the farmer bill, but मैं आपको एक चीज बताता हूँ, किसी भी चीज को बनाने से पहले उसका ड्राफ्ट भी, so for example, even if I'm getting into politics, I first need to understand economy of it, right? उसका मुझे इकोनॉमिक स्टैटिस्टिक्स निकालना पड़ता है, माइंडसेट निकालना पड़ता है, एंड दैट इज हाउ यू गो। बॉयज एंड गर्ल्स, आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट, एक बार ये अभी बजट आएगा मार्च में, सो फेब मार्च का जब भी आपका बजट आएगा, उसके पहले एक चीज आती है जिसे बोलते हैं इकोनॉमिक सर्वे। एक बार सॉफ्ट कॉपी डाउनलोड करके देखिएगा PIB से। आई रिपीट, प्लीज गो टू द PIB, डाउनलोड अ सॉफ्ट कॉपी ऑफ इट एंड सी फॉर इकोनॉमिक सर्वे। आपको पता लगेगा that the economic survey is on the basis of 2 parameters. One of them is on the basis of philosophy, psychology, sociology. This is one parameter, and the other parameter is on the basis of statistics and economics. These are the 2 parameters being used to identify things in there. तो कोई भी चीज एक आइसोलेशन में नहीं होती है। Boys and girls, maths when I'm saying, that does not mean that I should know 13 multiplied by 4. वो मेरा काम कैलकुलेटर कर देगा, right? 13 multiplied by 7 नहीं आता, कोई बात नहीं, that's okay with it, right? वो कैलकुलेटर काम कर देगा। बट अगर एट द एंड ऑफ द डे एक्सेल शीट के बाद एक इंफॉर्मेशन निकली है, देयर इज अ नंबर दैट यू हैव डिराइव्ड, हाउ डू यू इंटरप्रेट दैट नंबर is more important than deriving that number. Before I wind up the session, let me tell you, boys and girls, do you know that even the God has made the entire universe on the basis of a mathematical formulas? Has anybody heard of a concept called a Fibonacci series? Right? I'm sure you must have heard of something called a Fibonacci series. Flower देख लीजिए, body structure देख लीजिए, mountains को देख लीजिए, rivers को देख लीजिए. Even the nature is on the basis of it. This was a statement given by Einstein. This was a statement given by Einstein in one of his books, where he mentioned that even the God has made the entire universe on the basis of mathematics. So you cannot do away with mathematics. That's an inseparable part of life. And then I backtracked and back researched on certain portion, and I was shocked to realize, boys and girls, आप भी इस चीज को research कीजिएगा, that the World War II, I repeat, World War II was won by the mathematicians. It was actually the game of the mathematicians who held the countries to win the war in that. So, boys and girls, I hope you're understanding my point, where we are going and how far we need to go. There are many things that you need to do, but over the period of time, there has to have a process defined. There has to have a discipline defined. Once that process and discipline is defined, then it is what known as a perseverance, which is what known as a continuity to be made in there. ठीक है, that is what you are supposed to go with. Before I wind up, दो स्टेटमेंट मेरे दिमाग में आ रहे हैं। एक तो है, देखिए, दो तरह के कंसेप्ट होते हैं, हमेशा चीजों को कॉन्कॉक्स करके चला जाता है। देयर शुड ऑलवेज बी अ मिक्सचर एंड एन अमलगमेशन ऑफ थिंग्स इन देयर। कोई भी चीज आइसोलेशन में नहीं सीखी जाती। जैसे अभी हम बात कर रहे थे, प्रोसेस पे कॉन्सेंट्रेट करना है, एंड रिजल्ट पे नहीं। बट दूसरे कंसेप्ट में हम बात कर रहे थे, आपको एंड रिजल्ट पे कॉन्सेंट्रेट करना है, प्रोसेस पे नहीं। सो हर चीज का एक मिक्सचर होता है। यहीं से हमने बात शुरू की थी, वेयर आई स्टार्टेड विद, कि सर मटेरियलिज्म की तरफ जाए या स्पिरिचुअलिटी की तरफ जाए। नाउ दैट वाज द कंफ्यूजन दैट आई वाज टॉकिंग अबाउट। आई सेड बोथ द थिंग्स आर interrelated. So always, whenever you try to do something in there, make sure that's a mixture. And even the new education policy nowadays is talking about a skill sets. They just talking about different skill sets. Physics आती है, अच्छी बात है। Economics में इंटरेस्ट है, आइए। Economics, आपको philosophy पढ़नी है, पढ़िए। आपको commerce का सब्जेक्ट पढ़ना है, पढ़िए। And this is what the mixture that you get into. So this is what my experience, and also over the period of time I have seen that a good student is not the one who will get good marks. He may be a good student. I'm not denying the fact in there, but a good student would refer to as somebody who is disciplined, right? So if you are disciplined, there are many things that you would derive over the period of time. Right? So जाते जाते एक last thing, वो कहते हैं मंजिल मिल ही जाएगी भटकते ही सही, गुमराह तो वो हैं जो घर से निकले ही नहीं. Thank you. So that means you need to at least start your journey. So standing on the shore, obviously you cannot know what the things are. There are several websites available where you can go and enrich yourself. Udemy का नाम आप लोगों ने जरूर सुना होगा. Udacity is also one of the website in there. Free courses available हैं, एक बार करिए. इसी तरह से Swayam is for anybody who wants to get in there. Swayam is a portal by the Indian government, which is by the center government, right? उन्होंने अभी शुरू किया है Swayam portals. उसके अंदर there are brilliant websites, brilliant topics, subjects available in there. Go, please enrich yourself. Everything is there in front of you. So that was a little portion that I wanted to share with you. Madam, all up to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Parveen Khanna, you've talked about just everything. You gave us a, kind of an overview, an umbrella about, the entire coverage as in terms of science, commerce, arts, whatever they do, they follow their passion. And you talked about Industry 4.0. So this is one more. We talked about artificial intelligence. You talked about the process is important or the end result, or the end result is important or the process. This entire thing, we have to juggle it here. I think, Mr. Khanna, you've dwelled on this topic so beautifully with a lot of examples, concrete and anecdotes. So I think all this, we're highly obliged. We at DLD, we are really obliged for all the input that you've given us. And because the time is short, can I just have a little, a kind of a question session quickly if somebody wants to ask? Sir, will you be okay with it?
Sure,
Yeah?
ma'am. At any given point of time, I am happy.
Yeah, that will be very wonderful because, interaction means two-way traffic, right? So I think, yes, students, could you please switch on your video if possible? Lavanya, can we hear it from you? Any question which comes to your mind? Yes.
Sir, I have a personal question. I'm a science student, but I'm quite interested into writing. Currently, I'm writing a series of articles for an online platform, that is Wattpad. So what should be my next step, still keeping studies as a priority?
Okay, lovely for it. So when you took science, what are you looking for? Are you looking for the medicine or are you looking for the non-medicine?
Sir, I'm going for biomedical equipment engineering kind
Very
of
good, very good.
technical medicine.
Very good. Do you know there is something known as medical transcription, which is in a big way, and not everybody can do it, right? People have taken it in a full-fledged profession, which is again known as a medical transcription. You may jot this down, Lavanya. Medical transcription is something which is required to understand how things are transforming. And after this virus reference been there, different medicines been coming to different countries in there, you require the entire description, right? Which requires entire description of that. So medical transcription would again be a good idea to go along with. I also recommend if you can start pouring your thoughts with the opinion. I am sure that you're looking for opinion rather than the fact. Am I right, Lavanya?
Yes, sir.
Good. So if you want to give your opinion in there, all these websites have a different section called blogs. All these things have got a different section called blogs. Start following any blog and go ahead with it. One of the best way that I recommend, Lavanya, for the while is go to Quora. Quora is a big platform to express your writing skills as well, right? I have seen that some of the students been acquired by the companies just on the basis of the Quora, not on the basis of the title, but the quality of writing that they have done in there. So Lavanya, that will surely help you out. Find out the question that you want to answer and please pour your heart out. Please pour your heart out. This is what the step that I would recommend you at this given point of time.
Sir, any special tip to manage both of my fields? Like if I'm pursuing writing and still continuing with my studies. So any tip to balance them both?
Ravanya, for the while, you are supposed to give days minimum time to writing and maximum time to the science that you're already doing. Maybe I'll say half an hour to 45 minutes sometime towards the end of the day. The problem, Lavanya, not just with you, with everybody is with the thanks to COVID, that now we have started sleeping after 12 o'clock. पहले कहीं 10:05 होते थे तो लगता था ओ गॉड सुबह उठ पाएंगे कि नहीं उठ पाएंगे, अब तो 12:30 के बाद सोते हैं. So Lavanya, can you please utilize this time? ये जो रात का टाइम है, थोड़ा सा टाइम, and make sure that you utilize this time, because I'm dead sure you cannot sleep or you do not sleep before 12. और जो 10 से 12 का टाइम होता है, या तो नेटफ्लिक्स का होता है, या मिर्जापुर का होता है, या Amazon प्राइम होता है, या फिर वो चीजें जो अभी बता भी नहीं सकते, correct? So please make sure that you utilize this time. 45 minutes is what that I'm talking about. Utilize that 45 minutes only in the evening, at night. That is what I'm recommending. उससे ज़्यादा टाइम अभी मत दो. And once you realize that the things are going great, तब इसको आप balance out कर सकते हैं, taking it to 1.5 or 2 hours. But that should be also productive then.
Yes, that was
Thank you so much, sir.
good. Tamanna, would you like to ask something from sir? Yes, Tamanna?
Sir,
She was,
we mainly focused on AI for the session, but what is the scope for content writing in the coming years?
Okay. Tamanna, I think I did not focus on AI. I primarily talked about the Industry 4.0, which is the requirement for the next 4 decades, right? Because the way things are changing, and looking into the COVID scenario where all of us are at homes and we are now comfortable, right? आपने वो मेम तो सुना ही होगा where it says that मोदी जी अब अगले लॉकडाउन की जरूरत नहीं है, हम तो वैसे ही बहुत आलसी हो गए, correct? So that is what been happening. We are such comfortable with the internet that we can do anything and everything with it, right? Anything and everything, mind my words, anything and everything with the internet. So it was not only related with AI, but primarily I was saying what is there in the future. And if you're talking about writing, there are many things that you can start with. I think I gave an example where you may start with the blogs. Quora is something that we have just talked about. You may also look into the websites. There are several websites who are looking for the freshers for writing something. Because every website, see, why would you be visiting an X website? Because their content and the picture are interesting. So both the things are to get in there. Please understand, Tamanna, George Orwell, who is known for his 1984 novel and also for The Animal Farm, he categorically mentioned that even a great picture cannot save the boring text. So that means a picture is important, but an interesting text is always important anyway. So my recommendation, if you'll start with that, that'll make good sense. Now the next question would be, so where would I be getting these websites? These are the websites where you can search in there as a content writer fresher, just on Google. Nowhere else you would find ample opportunities. For the first few, I recommend do it for free. For first few, I recommend do it for free. Once you're comfortable with it, then obviously charge for your premium. That should always be done. Thank you.
yes, thank you so much. Harshit Gambhir, would you like to ask? Yes, Harshit, are you there? Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hi, Ashit.
Sir, can you please enlighten us about the future prospects after clearing the KVPY in colleges?
What exactly are you looking for?
Sir, I'm looking for the prospects after clearing KVPY.
Okay, I think I'll have to look into that. I have not much idea about this Yojana, the one that you're talking about. I'm not well equipped with it. Perhaps I'll have to look into that and then get back to you on this. Correct, Arshit?
Okay.
Because this is a specific Yojana, the one that you're talking about, and I do not have any idea on this, so I would not be the right person to talk about this at this point in time.
Right, sir. Srishti would like to ask. Yes, Srishti, quickly.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to ask, sir, I want to get into content writing as well as I have a keen interest in mathematics.
Anji.
How can I make a career out of it,
Okay.
including both of the things?
Okay, so the first thing that you need to understand is you also do have certain jobs which are for the content writing, for the maths also. See, please understand on this part. First of all, you are supposed to take the two things separate, right? Do not mix the two things at one given point of time. Only and only if you'll be mixing these both the things in there, then neither you would understand content nor you'll understand maths. There are different usages of maths. Let me first help you out with maths. If you're good at maths, economics, or statistics, there are two great opportunities which are available with you. One of them is what known as an actuaries. I'm sure you must be aware of this, which is being taken by the insurance sector, which is what known as an actuaries. The second one is what known as a data science, or what we also call this to be as a data management. So data science is something that you need to go with. Data science is all about churning the numbers and identifying in such a format where you know what you are supposed to do with that data. So this is what the maths field I'm talking about, in sync with Industry 1.4. For the content, we have just talked about the score and other parts portions as well. I recommend let the both things be different for the while, give time to that, and then only we would decide on that part. Because Srishti, generally it is, it is too early to identify, as I rightly said. अगर मैंने 4 बार अपना ट्रांजिस्टर खोल लिया तो मेरे दादाजी thinks that I will become an engineer there, right? So 4 बार नहीं, हर बार खोलना है और फिर उसके बाद बंद भी करना है और सही तरीके से करना है. So that is what more important. सिर्फ स्क्रू ड्राइवर पकड़ने से not everybody becomes a scientist, and everybody would not become a chartered accountant just by studying the commerce part. So इसको दोनों को अलग-अलग रखिए, अलग-अलग टाइम पे करने की कोशिश करें. After given point of time, that is approximate 6 months to 1 year. 1 साल के बाद आप इसको रिव्यू करेंगे, what exactly you want to get in there.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Good. Alicia, last question. Time is almost up. Alicia was wanting to ask something. Yes, Alicia, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir. My question is, how long will COVID-19 situations affect the job opportunities?
Okay, that's a concerned question, Alicia. Thank you for asking that question. Now let me answer that question, Alicia. Please go to Forbes list of rich people. You'll be surprised. There are many Indian names in that Forbes list whose net value has increased in last 6 months. Let me give you this first. Let me, Isha, let me present this idea with the help of a data. Now, this is what the data one. Number two, as I rightly mentioned, right now I said that the Zoom has functioned a lot. As I said that the e-commerce websites have logged in 200%. As you will see that the cyber security has gone shot up to, I don't know what percent requirement in there. Alisha, it is not about COVID per se. Therefore, today, agenda, I did not bring in hotel management. I did not bring in anything related to something which is being a chef. I did not talk about being a chartered accountancy. Minded, my sincere apologies. If you want to be, you can, right? I am not saying that these are the demeaning careers, but the only thing that I'm saying is you have to be in sync with the industry 4.0, then you would not go down. Trust me, I come from a business family where all my paternal and maternal uncles have been into this business, and let me reveal this idea. They were actually benefiting out of that, not negatively, positively. Obviously, they were actually getting benefit out of that. So please understand on these pointers in there. This is your mindset which is looking into the gray area. If you look into the positive things, you will be more than happy. There are millions of new opportunities have actually come up for you. Congratulations, Elisha. Do not go on the negative side.
With this, anybody would like to ask? Anybody else? Yes, Sugandh? Any question that comes to your mind, if any?
Yes, sir, I want to ask that is hotel management a good career option for girls?
Okay. Sugandh, several universities in India and schools and even colleges and even the new education policy now, they have started taking the third gender, correct? So, Sugandha, at this stage, if you are telling me, and even I have a daughter, right? So, stating that I'm talking about something about this. So, Sugandha, if you are saying now that for a girl, any career is good or not, I'll have a doubt on that part. You cannot even ask such questions, right? Where everything is now equally distributed among the two parties. Even the laws are now so evenly distributed. Now you cannot ask a question whether it is good for girls or not. Let me give you a shocking surprise. More than 42% of the law graduates last year, I repeat, for the law graduates, more than 42% of them were girls. Congratulations. आप तो शेफ की बात, आप तो होटल मैनेजमेंट की बात कर रहे हैं, मैं तो लॉ की बात कर रहा हूँ. तारीख पे तारीख. So I hope you're understanding my point, what I'm saying. So, I mean, this question is null and void. Go ahead, think broader, think big. That is what more important now.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, sir. It's been a very enlightening session indeed. You talked about all, all the queries taken up by our children. You've handled it so beautifully, you've answered. But all good things have to come to an end.